Mr. Skelly, is there a danger in releasing the government's UFO files and potentially creating a panic in the streets?
No, I don't believe that there would be. I think that we can handle the truth. We're a very strong nation.
And Mr. C, do we need to release these UFO files?
Well, I agree we should get a lot more information from our government. In fact, what I would like to see is a separate organization within the government, separate from the three branches, whose sole responsibility it is to report on the government, on what's going on the inside and the outside.
And Dr. Snootopia, the government's UFO files, is it time for release?
Oh, I think so. And as well, it's time for us to really embrace the whole UFO phenomena, call them in to help us. We need help in solving our critical problems. And if they are hopefully more wise and intelligent than we are, they can help us overcome urban sprawl.
So you're not concerned about a potential panic in the streets as a result of letting people know that the aliens are among us?
No, I think that what is causing us distress is not knowing about so many things, whether it's nuclear waste, issues in our water, or whatever it is. The government, a lot of documents need to be released.
Let me ask all the candidates here, anybody have concerns that if we did reveal what was going on with the aliens, they might come here and perhaps wage war upon us? Peter?
This again is a strong subject. For years, I was actually into theology. I'm known as a theologian in my younger days. And I've always preached, then and now, off the record, that we have been placed here on earth by another source. Some people call it God, some people call it aliens or UFOs. But whatever, the visitation is definitely present. There are hundreds of thousands of reports of seeing these advanced vehicles from American airline pilots all the way down. So it's something to really look at. And I think the visitation, we should take it in a positive way, because they, to my understanding, they have put us here.
Okay, so anybody else feel as though there might be an extraterrestrial threat?
I think they can teach us how to do peace. They may know how to go through wormholes, go into other galaxies. They could help us to achieve this new city design, really move us into a new direction that's aligned with the cosmos, because our cities now are not aligned with the cosmos. We can't even see the stars at night the way we should in healthy cities that have clean air. So yeah, I think that they can be very beneficial. They want us to survive, the good UFOs.
Chuck, you work at the Lunar and Planetary Lab. Do you know anything that the general public does not about these visitors from another world?
No, I'm afraid that they keep me in the dark as well. However, we do send a lot of spacecraft to other planets, and we're pretty careful about not disturbing any life that might be there. That's one of our prime directives, as it were. But I think it would depend to some extent as to what we might taste like to them.
Anything else? Charles, any final word on this topic?
Well, I think that we were seeded here on Earth 600 million years ago from outer space, as do quite a few books that have been released. I think they will come back, and of course their goal is to see how nicely we've progressed and how much benefit they've given to us.
All right. In addition to the questions from the average viewer out there tonight, we're also going to have a few clips from some of the candidates who couldn't be here. Up right now, I believe we have Sandy Whitehouse.
Hello, my name is Sandy Whitehouse, and I'm running for president on the Democratic ticket here in the great state of Arizona. I have a two-plank platform. My first issue is to repeal the Mining Act of 1872 that would allow the mining companies to dump their sludge and their toxic waste on the national forests. I think that's a very bad idea, as do probably most of my constituents, should I ever have any.
Okay, Sandy Whitehouse. She has the rather appropriate slogan, White House in the White House, 08. Remember, you can learn more about our candidates at our website, projectwhitehouse08.com. And where you'll also find links to our YouTube channel, and also a chance to vote in the Tucson Weekly Readers Endorsement Polling Challenge, which we're certainly hoping will go a little bit better this week. All right, I think we have another question up here. It is from a very special guest here, all the way from Point Hope, Alaska. You first met this character in the Democratic YouTube debates, and he's agreed to be here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, Billiam the Snowman.
Democratic candidates, I've been growing concerned that global warming, the single most important issue to the snowmen of this country, is being neglected. As president, what will you do to ensure that my son will live a full and happy life? Thank you.
Well, thanks to the folks who agreed to let us use Billiam in tonight's debate. And Chuck, I know the environment is something you've talked about in your campaign as a major concern. Do you have an answer for Billiam the Snowman?
Yes, the environment is important to me. I believe really it's probably the major challenge that we face, not only as a nation but as a world. And it's not just global warming, it's global climate change, and that refers to all elements of it, the increasing in temperatures, the change in the rainfall, the economic predictions that are associated with that. We've been pretty lucky so far, and unfortunately the environmentalists have kind of gotten a bad rap because, frankly, we've done some things kind of wrong. But I think it's time that we really have to pick up our picks and shovels and become serious about the environment and the number of people that are on the planet, and getting active with other nations to make sure that there is a future for all of our children.
Dr. Newtopia, I know that the environment is also a key portion of your campaign. What can you tell Billiam about what you'll do?
Oh, we will build new ecological cities, or ecologies. That's a word invented by Dr. Paulo Soleri. He has an experimental city in central Arizona. What my contribution to the idea is to make it a democratic ecology. Because I think that we need a new container for the city. Our old cities are sprawl, they're car dependent, and so we really need to get off our addiction of oil and the automobile.
All right, Peter, climate change. How would you address climate change in a Bollinger administration?
Jim, this is one of my favorite subjects or topics. 1972, I was invited, I was just a kid then, 19, 20 years old, to the governor's office, Jack Williams, to meet with him. Wesley Boland was my invitee. Picked me up, took me, gave me a tour of the Capitol, sat down with Jack Williams. I was pushing at that time solar energy. And solar energy is the way to go as far as energy goes. Lately, I've been putting together a commission to deal with Governor Napolitano of the state of Arizona. And through the local office in Tucson, there wasn't a budget to actually commission us as far as funding us. But my idea was to pump salt water from the Sea of Cortez, 140 miles, to the Yuma, take the salt water, separate the salt from the water, create fresh water. 20 square miles of desalination plants is enough water to power the entire state, more than a CAP output. So our water is a basic commodity.
We're going to an aqua power under your administration.
Yeah, actually, it depends on region. I would place nuclear back east, small portion, mostly desalination plants along the west coast, San Diego, and pumping salt water from Yuma.
Charles, I know a nuclear power plant you announced earlier this week, your intention to see one of those built.
Certainly, we need to build the integral fast reactor, breeder reactor. It's 99% efficient, very little waste. As you can imagine, we'll be generating a lot of electricity from this safely and all that. And we won't have to burn as much gasoline or diesel fuel. Certainly, it'll take care of some of the greenhouse effect.
And as far as Billiam's concerned go, do you think they're valid? The snowman.
The snowman. I think that all of his concerns can be addressed through the Adam Smith version of economics. What we need is more working capital, which would allow us to do all these tasks more efficiently. You know, I've had a phrase that's occurred in my working career, which was that with the right tool, any job is easy.